Hey, our first two proofs here. These rules ultimately get used in writing out proofs. They prove or show how, step by step, an argument is valid. And I'm going to do our first two proofs here with our first two rules, modus ponens and modus tollens. Ultimately, we'll build in more rules, and this will become a bit more challenging, but very important here to get down the method at this point, practice some proofs, and know how we structure these things. All right, the proof here on the left, we have three premises above the line. If not x, then y. If z, then not x. And our third premise is not y. Conclusion, not z. This argument's valid. I wouldn't give you an invalid argument because you would not then be able to do a correct proof. So we're not here trying to figure out whether arguments are valid or invalid. Direct, indirect truth tables both do that. This is to be able to explain step by step, think through, explain to yourself and explain to others the validity of an argument, how it is that the conclusion follows necessarily from the premises. All right, let's get to it. What we do is thin S there, we start with a column for our steps and then a column that gives the justification for each of those steps. We begin with our premises, however many premises there are, enter those as your initial steps in the proof. So first step I have if not x then y. Second, if z then not x. Third step, not y. And the justification is just those are premises. We don't know if they're true or not. We're interested only in the logical connection between the premises and the conclusion. In other words, whether or not the conclusion follows from the premises. Okay, now what I then do is I go step by step by our rules. At this point we have two until I get to the conclusion, not z. Taking a look at what I have here, lines 1 and 3 form a modus tollens inference. Line 1, the antecedent is not x, consequent is y. We have negation of the consequent, so we get negation of the antecedent. That gives us double negation, not x. Okay, and so we say that that's modus tollens. I just put the lines in numeric order, but you can go either way. It's from lines 1 and 3. Notice we didn't say x, not x. It's going to be equivalent to x, but we have a special rule for that called double negation later on down the road, and we want to follow the rules precisely, so this is how we do it. At this point, we actually can get our conclusion. If you look, and again, you may or may not see this right away, you got to get used to it. If you look at lines 2 and 4, we have another modus tollens inference. Complicated one, maybe interesting, a little bit different. Sometimes this helps to do this. So I'm circle my antecedent, put a box around my consequent, and notice that I have negation of that thing I box. That's just exactly how modus tollens goes. What do I get? Negation of the antecedent, which in this case is z. And so I'm done, and I explain that I got to not z by modus tollens as applied to lines 2 and 4. Okay, let's go over to the right. Again, with this and the other proof, if you missed it the first time, go back, watch this again, stop, pause, and so on and so forth. All right, let's knock off the next one. We list our steps to the left, justification to the right. While I'm doing this, go ahead and take a look and see if you can see any inferences. Scanning lines 1 through 3. Second premise is if p then not x. P is our third premise. Okay. Enter premise, each of these. Maybe after a while you can get used to it. You can just draw an arrow down for the premises 2 and 3 or how many other additional premises there are. This one's staring right at us. It's a little bit easier proof actually. I would say lines 2 and 3 we have modus ponens inference. Line 2 is our if-then. Line 3 gives the antecedent of that if-then, so we get the consequent, not x. And so we say it. At this point, we have a new line 4 that helps us proceed and gets us to our conclusion. You don't always use immediately. Line that you get to next, if you have as efficient proof as possible, you will use it at some point anyway. Try to do that. Lines 1 and 4. Line 1 is a large if-then. Its consequent is y and z. Line 4 gives us the antecedent of that if-then, not x. So we do again have modus ponens, lines 1 and 4. All right, hopefully you saw my error here. And I should have said modus ponens, lines 2 and 3 to begin. Now it looks good.